NERDSoul.
Why are you a black man in love? Hey y'all. Thank you for joining us once again for Black Together, a Walk in Her Shoes. I am Lisa. Some of you may know me as Lady Lisa. And I am joined by Miss Kim, aka Madam Buddaphlai.
Peace, love, and light, everybody.
All right. So we, as always, want to thank NERDSoul for allowing us to be on his platform. And you can check all of his videos out on ThatNERDSoul.com. He and I have the original Black Together on Tuesdays. He's with the Four Horsemen on Wednesdays for Beats, Vibes, Life. And again, he and I are together for Lounging on Fridays. And I think he has some new gems that he's dropped too. So be sure to go to his page and check those out. And also get you some t-shirts, get you some sweatshirts for the season at shop.nerdsoul.com. And also check out our official Black Together, a Walk on Her Shoes Facebook page to get a hint or maybe a sneak peek for our next show. Also, check out our group page to start or join a conversation about a topic we've covered, maybe a topic you'd like for us to cover. All right. So today, Madam Buddaphlai, what's in our shoebox?
We have a pair of durable, waterproof steel toe boots because today we are talking about habitual line stepping and dating within your circle.
Ooh. All right now. Okay. I don't know. I feel like every topic we do, we have to take a breath before we enter into the room.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay. So we're going to kind of break this down in a few steps or a few volumes, if you will, because habitual line stepping covers an array of line steppingness. So we're going to start here. All right. If he's her ex-boyfriend, meaning a friend, right? If a guy is your friend's ex-boyfriend, is he really off limits?
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Please elaborate. Why?
Well, first and foremost, I think that that's just an awkward, uncomfortable situation.
Mhm.
And all of my girlfriends, it's like a sisterhood.
Mhm.
And so the idea of being in that kind of predicament, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that at all. From the selfish standpoint, I would say I don't want nobody in my circle knowing what my man working with. Okay, that's my own personal business, and I'm not going to speak on my man to anybody. I don't want to entice anybody in regards to my man or anything like that. So I certainly wouldn't want to be with someone that they already have intel on.
Gotcha.
What are
Now,
your thoughts?
what if it's a situation where somebody in the circle and she just went like on a date or they started talking or whatever, but it was never a relationship?
I think I still would feel uncomfortable with it. However, I think that you know how your friend feels about it makes a difference. How significant the chemistry was, how long ago it was. I think all of those things make a difference. So before I would proceed with anything like that, I would have to have a conversation with her to see how she felt about it before I could even consider that as a
Yeah.
possibility. Yeah.
Something I just thought of. What about situations when you start seeing someone, dating someone, or what have you, and you find out, oh, this is so and so's ex?
Hmm. I mean, you have to be honest. You have to
Yeah.
be honest. If you didn't know, then you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, if you did know and you keep it a secret and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, that's a different conversation. But you can't be held accountable for what you don't know, and you have to have a conversation. And even then, I would say, where exactly are you in this relationship or situationship
Mm-hmm.
with this particular person, because you're going to have the conversation,
Yeah.
with the girlfriend, and see how she feels. And if this is somebody who was significant in her life and for some reason you all just never crossed paths,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, then you have to start asking yourself if you can continue in that relationship in good faith. I mean, it's a difficult situation, because you when you find somebody that you truly have chemistry with, that could be a rare find.
Yeah.
And the older that you get, the harder it is
Mm-hmm.
to find somebody who's that you're compatible with.
Yeah.
So I want to be careful. I don't want to just give the blanket statement of, you know, no way in the world would I ever talk to, somebody that someone talked to before. But
Mm-hmm.
it would have that interaction with that other person would have to be so light and trivial and
Mm.
meaningless, for me to even consider it as a possibility, because
Mm-hmm.
it would bother me.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
It can get kind of crazy, and I don't know. I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying and agree with you when it's an ex of someone in your circle. If it's a significant relationship, it's still a sensitive thing or whatever. That's just a no. I think if you genuinely care about this friend, it won't even feel right to do that. You won't even if you tried, you would be so uncomfortable and feel so crazy doing it. It's just not going to work. If there's true love, you know what I mean, that you have for your friend, it's just not going to, you just can't bring yourself to do it. Um I do think it gets kind of, or it can get kind of crazy if it is a situation where, you know, some way, somehow, maybe this hasn't been the longest friendship you've had, right? And you start dating someone and just come to find out, um, this is your girlfriend's ex, right? You've
Hmm.
been talking to him, y'all really click, everything's going great. You decide to bring him around your circle, and bam, this is so and so's ex boyfriend.
Right.
But you've already made a connection with him. She's
Right.
looking crazy. She's looking uncomfortable. She's looking hurt. He's looking confused, ready to run for the door. Like, what just happened here?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Because it's
Yeah.
like you said, you know, as you get older, it's harder to make connections, genuine connections.
Hmm.
But then that's true for friendships and it's true
Yeah.
for romantic relationships. So you're
100%.
kind of in this place where you don't want anyone to be hurt. You
Right.
don't want to put anyone in a crazy situation. You want to be able to, you know, share the happiness of your relationship with your friends. But with this, can you really do that?
Right.
So it can be a little messy.
Yeah, it definitely can be messy. I mean, because when we first started discussing, this topic, um, my knee jerk reaction was, unequivocally, no, there's no way that I would ever talk to someone that one of my sisters has talked to, and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I still feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me,
Mm-hmm.
the way that I'm set up, like emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I could handle that kind of energy
Yeah.
with it, in my life. There's
Yeah.
there's too many men out here
Mm-hmm.
for me to have the potential for dissension in my sisterhoods, because I value
Yeah.
my sisterhood so much. At the same time, especially looking at it from, both of us are married. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're in a different place in our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that long ago that both of us were single.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you're of a particular age and you're single and you're trying to find that partner, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you're ready to start a family, you're looking at the clock and the clock is, past high
Yeah.
noon. You know what I mean? It's like you start taking a lot of other things into consideration.
Yeah.
So, I had to be mindful of that in, when I was thinking about it. It's like, I kind of had to check myself,
Mm-hmm.
because it's easy when you're in a certain position to, try to hold this standard that doesn't apply to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I'll say, for lack of a better word, place judgment
Mm-hmm.
on people for the decisions that they're making, you
Yeah.
know, because that's not a decision that you have to make.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, yeah. So the I guess, for instance, if one of my girlfriends uh dated somebody in high school, and somehow or another this mystery person comes back on the scene, and we're all grown folks,
Mm-hmm.
should that circumstance be held to the same standard as someone that she dated as an adult?
Right.
You know what I mean? Does it matter if you've met the person and been around the person when they were a couple, versus not knowing him or not knowing either one of them when they were together? There's
Mm.
so many different things that could influence the decision on, or I should say, the comfort level
Yeah.
in moving forward with that.
Yeah. And another thing I thought about is, you have this really great friend, and you have an ex, was the ex-boyfriend, whether it was a brief relationship or somebody from high school or what have you. It didn't work out, right? And this friend starts dating your ex or what have you. I guess another way to look at it is like, okay, you might be in your feelings, but if I actually still think he's a great person, it just didn't work out between us. Because I mean, that
Hmm.
happens all the time. It's like it doesn't work
Right.
out, but doesn't mean that you have any animosity, doesn't mean that either of you are a bad person. Y'all just were for each other, right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
he's a great person. Well, your friend is a great person.
Hmm.
So then looking at it from, I guess, from the perspective of you being that common denominator, it's like, well, can I get my emotions in check to allow these two great people to see if it can work for them? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that's really another way to look at it. If you're the person that's like, oh, that's my ex and you're my friend, you know what I
Right.
mean? I
Right.
think that's something else to really consider.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whew,
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
That really is a tough one.
it's a tough. I've
Yeah.
luckily never been in that situation,
Yeah, me
like
either.
in any role.
Yeah, me
Luckily, but
either.
I know people are,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they have been.
Yeah.
Um, I think sometimes it's people being messy and they just don't care, which is
Yeah,
unfortunate. But I do
that's true.
believe there are other times when it's no intention, to be messy. It just turns into a very crazy situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's funny when you said you've never been in that situation. And I was sitting here thinking, even though, we're related, but we still have, for the most part, always been in each other's circle. So
Yep.
it's like, and we've had people in our circle that were like-minded,
Yeah.
so, you know, I I couldn't even imagine something like that happening with the women that we know, because everybody, well, outside of the fact that a lot of them are married, but
Yeah.
if we were all single, we just had a code
Yeah.
that we kind of went by. And, it wasn't something that we really had to have a conversation about. It was understood that this is the way
Exactly.
that it goes, you know?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the closest the the closest that would thing would be, I believe, when you, I don't want to say the name of the store, but where you and Teresa met when y'all were co-workers. If I'm
Right.
getting this
Uh-huh.
right.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
there was this other girl, didn't like me, I didn't like her. And it stemmed from all of us went
Yeah.
out together. Her man
Right.
slipped me his number,
Right. I forgot all about
and
that.
she had an attitude with me.
Right. But that girl she wasn't our friend. She was just a tag along. If
That's why I say that's the closest I've ever come.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
Because
tag
she
alongs
got
get no
mingled in
love.
there somewhere.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like,
Tag
your
alongs
man
don't
slipped
get
me his
love like
number.
that.
I don't understand why you upset with me.
Yeah.
Because
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot all about that. That
I
is too
remember that
funny.
because she did not like me from that day forward.
Yeah. And that's an interesting thing, because it's like, why do we as women, and of course I'm speaking generally, but why do we as women get mad at other women
Mm-hmm.
for the poor behavior of our men?
Mm-hmm.
If your man is cheating or behaving in a way that is inappropriate, your man is the one that has the obligation to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is the person you are in relationship with. And
Yes.
so that is the person that you should be addressing
Mm-hmm.
in that type of situation. Here's the only exception: if you and I know each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that I'm in relationship with this person,
Mm-hmm.
and you uh, participate in or encourage inappropriate interaction
Mm-hmm.
with my man, oh, then yeah, we gonna have some problems.
Yeah, but it's a also, and like you can't just go after her and leave
Right.
him sitting there. It's a also, it's a also,
Oh
and
yeah.
I
It's
agree
gonna
with
be a
you. I
two-piece special with a biscuit. Most definitely.
yeah. So I don't get that either. You end up having two women like pulling each other's hair out, and he's standing there looking crazy, like I don't know.
Yes.
It's like, no,
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
get it
Yeah.
either. Yeah, I don't get it
That's
either.
wild.
To me, it's the same situation as if you're out with your man and a woman approaches him,
Yeah.
it's not for me to step in and say anything. It's on
Right.
him to correct
Mhm.
her. Now, if she
Yeah.
wants to pretend she doesn't understand English, I can translate for her.
Right. Right. Right.
But that's after he's done that. And vice versa. If a man approaches me, it's for me to handle.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, then he can step in. It's not, you know, I have to take the initiative and be like, okay, I'm in a relationship. So you have to back. I can't just stand there like, I don't know.
Well, I say it like this: that situation gets the same 5 second rule as when food drop on the floor. Okay, and you can judge me all you want to, but you get the same 5 second rule. You got 5 seconds to handle the situation and for the woman to have an understanding. And if it's not communicated and understood within 5 seconds, then I have no other option but to pull an intervention.
He
I'm just
said
saying.
he with me.
The clock is ticking.
They going back over there where you were.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, look, I am with you. But usually for me, my face says more than enough.
Right?
I have a very hard time regulating the tone of my face.
I know that's right. Listen, you know the road that we travel to get to where we are. And I can say for myself,
Mm.
100%, I have earned my husband. You understand? I have earned him. And ain't
Girl.
nobody coming betwixt henceforth and such.
Girl. Yes, I'm with you on that
uh,
one.
oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I'm glad I met my husband when I met him. Had I met him before, excuse me, ma'am, I don't know what you have going on. Please back away.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm telling you. Shout out to all of the ladies and the brothers who, had to climb the mountaintop
Mm,
to find your soulmate.
mm,
Because I'm telling you, it's a level of appreciation and joy that is
mm-hmm.
unlike any other. For you to climb up
Absolutely,
out of those trenches and you
girl.
got somebody right there and they have your back and you have theirs and you have something that is like worth protection and covering and all.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing like that.
You've been
Whew.
wandering around in that valley trying to sow seeds in some dry dirt. Yes.
Tumbleweed rolling by.
Mm, yes.
Oh my gosh. That is too funny. Whew.
All
Oh
right.
Lord.
So let's move on to the next topic of habitual line stepping.
Okay.
kind of, you know, kind of still dealing with that, but dating within your circle. So dating someone else that's already in your circle. What do you think about that?
I feel like dating within your circle is the same as like dating where you work. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You don't, or dating in your apartment complex. You don't play where you stay. You know, you don't poop where you eat. And, all of those say like there's certain things that just get messy or have the potential to get messy and are
Mm-hmm.
off limits. So,
But your
if
soulmate might live in apartment 2B.
well, once I move, we can explore that.
But you like your apartment. Or your soulmate might work in, I don't know, the finance department and you over in customer service.
Well, maybe I've just had too much experience in the stalking department that I don't want any parts of that, okay? I don't want them to be able to readily identify where I am, who's coming and going in my house, all of this. Like it's just, and vice versa because I'm human. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want I don't want that kind of pressure to be
Mm-hmm.
able to, because it's not once you get to the point of a relationship, that's something different. But
Mm-hmm.
it's getting to the
Right.
relationship.
I was like,
It's
you got to
the
get there.
right, the dating part of it, and wondering where you fit with this person, and them
Mm-hmm.
wondering where they fit with you. And just because you start dating somebody doesn't mean that's the only person that you're dating until
Well,
you
yeah.
have that conversation of exclusivity. You know what I mean? So then I'm feeling like I can't really authentically move the way I want to move
Hmm.
because I got peeping Tom over here potentially checking, my comings and goings. I
Yeah.
can't roll with that. And, because I'm a very inquisitive person, I might be doing a little peeping myself. And I just don't want that kind of pressure, you know?
I see you. I see you. Yeah. Yeah.
But what do you think about that?
I mean, I agree, but it's just that thing. Once again, as you get older, you
Right.
realize that, and we do this a lot as women, you realize that that dude that you put in the friend box is the dude. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? We get
Yes.
so busy putting a guy in a friend box that we don't realize, like, if you consider him such a good friend, he's probably a good dude to be in a relationship with, crazy.
Right. Right.
You so busy telling him about all these whack dudes that you dealing with and him being your shoulder.
Hmm.
Hello?
Right.
You know, because he don't have the swag that you want.
Hmm.
He's not, he ain't got the washboard stomach or whatever else that the other dudes have. But it's like, but they look good, but they ain't no good,
Right.
you know?
That's true.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's funny that you say that because that was the situation with how my husband and I ended up together. Not from the sense of not being attracted to each other. It's just both of us were having our fun being single,
Mm-hmm.
dating people, and
Mm-hmm.
we were friends, and
Mm-hmm.
we would get on the phone with each other and talk about the dates that we were going on with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and we just kind of naturally slid into each other's friend zone
Mm-hmm.
without without even really thinking about it. We
Mm-hmm.
were attracted to each other. We knew that we were attracted to each other, but we never spoke on that,
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, we were dibbling and dabbling in other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we both just kind of got annoyed with the single scene at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. And
Mm-hmm.
we were having a conversation one day, and it was just like, there's nothing like this isn't the life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we both wanted the same things, and we had had so many conversations about what we wanted and knew that we had those things in common, but it never
Mm-hmm.
dawned on either one of us, dummies, y'all should date. Like it
Right.
just, we were completely oblivious to it. And then one day we're having a conversation, and he's just like, well, what if we start talking? And I was just like, in
And
my
what if
mind,
we
I'm
do?
like, well, dang, I never even thought about
Ding
that.
ding
Like it was just like a light bulb went off, like,
ding.
what?
Yeah.
And from that moment, we were inseparable
Mm-hmm.
ever since. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
It
It's
is
crazy how
crazy.
that happens.
It is crazy because I laugh because, with me and my husband, me and NERDSoul, just let me just go and say it, me and NERDSoul, we met in a salsa class. He had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't look at him any kind of way. I just thought he was a nice guy. I love the fact that he seemed to be having fun,
Hmm.
right? Okay. And we didn't start talking until well after we first met. He had already moved to LA, and we were talking on the phone and everything. And I was actually trying to help him get his girlfriend back. Is what I was trying to do because I was
Just
like,
giving away the
oh,
blessing. Just giving away the blessing.
look, look, God was working it out. Because they had broken up, and because I was like, "How's your girlfriend?" He was like, "Oh, we broke up," and he starts talking to me about that. So I'm trying to help him, get her back, and then you know stuff goes off that he's telling me, and I'm like, oh, "I think she was cheating on you." He goes, "Everybody keeps telling me that." I'm like, uh, hello, sir. And it just kind of from there, I think something just clicked for the two of us. We went from talking every once in a while to talking every week to talking every day to talking
Mhm.
several times a day. And
Mhm.
it just happened, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
the beauty. The beauty.
I
Yeah.
know.
But
I
neither of
know.
those situations were habitual line stepping situations.
No, they were
Neither of those.
not.
Yes.
They were not. So I mean,
Thankfully.
it could be, yeah. I mean, he you could say that he was within a certain circle because you know how the salsa dancing circle kind of was in
Yeah.
Richmond. I mean,
Right.
there were several circles, but Richmond ain't but so big. I got
Right.
to the point everybody knew everybody. Um, but yeah, it wasn't like I saw him and he was with his girl, and I was like, boom, gotcha.
Right.
Nothing like that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've seen some stuff where it's like, that's so and so's man. You over there doing your little cha
Yeah.
cha.
For sure. For sure. That yeah. That's an interesting thing because we kind of have moved into this generation of women and even men for that matter who pride themselves on either being a side piece or having a
Mm.
side piece. A lot of people are avoiding these deep intimate
Mm-hmm.
connections with people, and so they agree to be kind of in these situationships and
Mm-hmm.
things to keep it light,
Mm.
to not have to truly invest. And you know it's all fun and games until it's not,
Girl.
because it's not always about, well, I'm gonna have my fun and hang with this person until I get bored or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You could end up getting hurt because you don't
Yes.
know what that other person,
Yes.
the person who doesn't realize that their partner is in an entanglement, you
Mm.
don't know what they're capable of,
Yeah.
you know?
That's true.
And
But
so,
but but let's be real now. This ain't something for this new generation. There are stories of situations and entanglements in the Bible.
well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I guess I'm thinking in terms of the internet and like, that type of thing. But you're
Yeah,
right. You're
but
100% right.
there was
Yeah.
some situations where some women got highly upset.
Yeah. There were
Men got
definitely some
highly
side
upset.
pieces, back then.
Yes.
They were called Jezebels,
They were
but it was
called
a side piece.
concubines.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Call it what you want to. It's still a side piece, no biscuit.
Right. That is so
Yeah,
true. That is so
yeah.
true.
It's yeah. We're
So
gonna we're gonna leave
I
that right
saw
there.
I saw something somewhere. I don't even remember where someone was talking about um you God is not going to send you somebody else's husband. And I was just like, "Ooh, that's real.
It's very real.
That's real."
It's very real.
But I mean, these are I think these are conversations that women need to have with young girls
Yeah.
about where is the line. so that you don't
Yeah.
become a habitual line stepper.
Yeah.
You know, having respect for boundaries of marriage and relationships, and
Yeah.
respecting your sisterhood or your brotherhood and that type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's something, those principles are taught or should be taught at a young age. And there's just
Mhm.
certain conversations that aren't allowed to be discussed,
Yeah.
you know?
And I'm gonna be real with you. I think a lot of times those conversations don't take place is because the person who would be initiating that conversation has some sort of guilt a lot of times
Mm,
about what situations they've been in,
hmm.
and they don't want to be put in a place where it would be appropriate and beneficial for them to share that experience
Right.
where they've been the side piece or they had the side piece
Or
and
family secrets.
or family
Because, you
secret.
know,
That's true.
yeah. Because I
That's
mean,
true.
now we're in, you know, we're in the realm of DNA testing and all of that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. But the years of old, y- there was none of that. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? So you could just say so and so is the baby daddy, and that's just what it is, you know.
Right.
And they
Unless
either
they just show up looking like they clone, which I've seen happen.
right.
Oh, that's your child. Just shut up. That's your child. I'm looking at you.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, you know, it opens up, I think it, people are fearful of talking about certain things with their children because it opens up the floor for other conversations. Like you said, whether it's being the side piece or having a side piece,
Mhm.
or you know, preserving family secrets. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm sure that most families have some kind of situation where there was a question of paternity.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no question of paternity. Maybe everybody knows that
Hmm.
somebody's child ain't their child, or that somebody was having an affair and people just turn the other way, or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a cultural detriment, if you will,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Um, how did we get here?
Yeah. The habitual line stepping
Oh yes.
and all, you
Okay.
know, because it comes in many
It
forms.
does. It
Yeah, but we
really
were
does.
talking about dating within the circle, dating
Yeah.
within your circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We yeah. We okay, we talked about a whole bunch of circles. So, um what happens, like, okay, let's say you date within the circle. Okay, that's
Mm,
established, everybody else in the group is like, okay, those two are dating, cool, awkward, whatever, cool, right? But
mm,
what happens when they break up?
right. And see, that's why you don't do it. That is exactly why you don't do it. Because to me, it's like if people within the circle start dating,
Mhm.
then when it ends, it's like a divorce. And,
Mm.
you know,
Who gets
unless
the
there's just,
friends?
right, unless they just have this incredible breakup that transcends most social norms, where everybody can still coexist and all of that, the circle goes through a divorce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
now you got to figure out who's going to align with whom so that
Right.
nobody is feeling a certain type of way. And, you know, I don't want to be in that type of situation.
That's true. It was a show me and Michael were watching, and these were with teenagers. But this is what happened. There was a circle of friends. The only girl in the group, which is a little odd, started dating one of the young men, and they broke up. And she calls the other friends and said, "You got 24 hours to decide who's free." And she was serious about that fact. Got 24 hours. Like, well, what happens if we don't make a decision within 24 hours? I'm a little scared. you know,
uh,
but
yeah.
it's kind of, I guess it could kind of be like that. Again, thankfully, I don't recall being in a situation like that either, but I know it does happen, and I'm sure it can be extremely awkward.
Yeah. I think
So,
that's something that's probably more common, in the high school and college
yeah,
years.
absolutely.
Because as you get older, you just don't really have a whole lot of time for a circle. You get tired, by 10
yeah,
o'clock, you ready to go to sleep.
yeah.
So it's like your priorities change. But
yeah.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
crazy
You get
situation.
older, you lucky if you can make a quartet.
Right. Right. And you know what? There needs to be, and I'm sure if maybe I shouldn't even say that. Maybe I should save that idea, keep that idea to myself and come up with something. Because if somebody takes this idea and makes millions off of it, I'm gonna be a little agitated.
We'll talk about
I'm gonna
it
keep that,
offline.
yeah, I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Okay.
So we're gonna just disregard that little outburst.
Everybody's gonna be like, I wonder what it was. So, well, this is a good place to take a break.
Oh my gosh, too funny. Yes. Well, we've come to the portion of our podcast where we highlight Black businesses in a segment called In Your Black Business. Today's business is House of Aesthetics. House of Aesthetics is a sweet setting located in Henrico, Virginia, where beauty has been naturally enhanced for the last 8 years with lock maintenance, braids, and styling services. Specializing in natural hair care, House of Aesthetics will have you feeling your best for any event. Contact today to book your appointment at 804-939-3791. That's House of Aesthetics at 804-939-3791.
All right. Now, we also have started a brand new segment. We always like to keep it rolling, guys, keep some new ideas going. So we have a new segment called Footnotes. Well, we'll just talk about different topics that have just come up in the news, or maybe just something interesting that we came across. So there was news that came out in the last couple of days. Scotland becomes the first country to make tampons and pads available for free. And I thought that was quite interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm torn about it,
Mhm.
actually, because I definitely believe that when you are discussing poverty, issues
Mhm.
of economics,
Mhm.
when people can't afford certain necessities, I do believe that we have a moral obligation to assist the needy.
Mhm.
So that's one aspect of it.
Mhm.
The other aspect of it is I believe that everything should be fair and balanced.
Mhm.
So if we are providing a service to women
Mhm.
that that makes their lives easier, then we should also provide a service to men.
Mhm.
I don't think that anything should ever be one-sided.
Mhm.
And so I don't have a problem with socializing that type of thing, because I
Mhm.
mean we have socialized housing, food programs,
Mhm.
medication, you know what I mean? And in some ways I guess it could be argued that that's more in alignment with like medicine, or you know what I'm saying? I guess
Mhm.
it could be argued in a sense that that's kind of like a health thing.
Mhm.
Um I just I don't know. I get troubled. I get troubled when we start having government involved in medical care. And even though that might be a reach to call it medical care because it's supplying products, I just get uncomfortable with that because I feel like as soon as you start involving government in medical care, then you open up the doors for Roe v. Wade. And that might be a stretch, but
I know
for
what you're
me,
saying. You give them an inch, they take 3 feet.
Exactly. And so I, and I know that people feel different ways about Roe v. Wade and all of that, and that's fine. For me, the right to an abortion isn't about the argument of whether it's a child versus an organism of sorts. That's not the position that I argue. The position that I argue is limited government, especially in terms of what it is that we do with our bodies. Because if we open that door, then how can we close it? If you decide that you want to take a holistic approach with cancer or something, or even with us going through this pandemic right now, right? If they decide that, okay, this is the vaccine, everybody needs to take it or whatever, I find that problematic because government should not be making decisions about our bodies. And so, like I said, even though it can be, that can be kind of a reach in what I'm saying, I just feel like it's the beginning of a path that I'm not interested in.
Gotcha.
So I'm kind of torn, assisting people who can't afford certain things that are a necessity. I support that.
Yeah.
But having government involved in medical things, I don't support that. So I don't really know how to answer that. What are your thoughts on that?
For me, I'm like, of all of the things that could be provided for free, why did we hone in on this? Out of all the things in this world that people need, that they're suffering and cannot afford. I mean, you could walk 2 blocks, if that, from where I'm from, and there is a huge homeless encampment there, all around here in West LA, everywhere. There are people, that need a home, that need clothing, that need food, that need water, that need personal items to stay clean and healthy, right? People, not just women. So it just struck me as clearly this was, some bill that that a woman or a feminist organization started, and it got passed. And good for them. You know what I mean? I respect that process and totally believe in that process. And I honestly believe that's how that process should work. There should be citizens that are able to come together and say, hey, me along with this number of people believe that this should be, we're going to submit this through the channels, the proper channels, and see if it can get passed. And I believe that's the process that they followed with some of the research I was able to do. And that's great. However, I just take issue with the fact that it's just for women. This is only for women. Again, out of all the things that we all need, that people need and are suffering because they don't have it, you pick tampons and maxipad. Not water, not food, not clothing, not, vouchers to go to a clinic, not shelter. Tampons and maxi pads.
Well, my thing, like, okay, what's going on in Scotland? Are women just walking around free flowing? Like, what's happening? I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know either. I mean, from some of the research I read, it does seem to be a problem with, they were saying like some young girls can't afford it. Even issues of them feeling shame surrounding their cycle. That's a whole other
that's a whole other
that's a
conversation.
whole other issue.
Right.
I mean, you could be walking around with your free products and still feel, you know, that's a whole other conversation issue. It
Right.
just strikes me as very odd. And honestly, if I'm gonna be real, selfish.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
from the I have an issue with, Lord. I'm ready for the comments. I have an issue with feminists, if I'm gonna
I
be
was
real.
waiting for. I knew because I was like, say it, say it. Yes,
I'm gonna
I
be
do
real.
too.
I
I do
have an
too. Yes.
issue with feminists and the feminist movement as it is presented.
Right.
Not as what y'all say it is,
Right.
but as what it is.
Right.
And
Because
this reeks of a feminist movement, because in my perception, the feminist movement is not about equality.
right.
It's about favor on the side of women.
Right. The
And I take
pendulum
issue with that.
shift.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like the pendulum is swinging from one extreme to the other.
right,
It's not about everybody being on the same playing field.
right.
And for anyone who is getting ready to hit the dislike button
Hit
or
it.
hop into the comments about it, I would just say this. If you
Hit it,
are
because it means you
cool,
watched. Thank you.
if you are cool with feminism from the perspective of what we're talking about, where it becomes one sided in the favor of women, then I would ask you, um, if gender were replaced with race,
Mm,
and we were dealing with the issues of white supremacy and things like that, would you feel the same way? Because equality is equality across the board. It
mm-hmm,
doesn't matter which what two things are being weighed against each
mm-hmm.
other to be equal.
Yeah,
Either you believe in equality or you don't.
come on.
Either you believe in superiority and inferiority or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right? As a principle. So I don't know how anyone could be against or opposed to white supremacy, but then be for feminism as it stands today, not
Mm-hmm.
as the what. And I don't even know if it was ever intended to be an equality thing. I don't know. But either way it goes, because it seemed like there was some shenanigans from the get go with feminism. But whatever, I wasn't there. I'll just say this: you need to evaluate your belief system if you think that it is okay for a gender to be favored,
Mm-hmm.
because if you can believe that a gender can be favored, then you could believe that a race should be favored,
Mm-hmm.
or that a religion should be favored.
Right.
And you know that's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah,
So
I agree. And I know some people are just saying, but it's just tampons and maxi pads. Let the women have their free feminine hygiene products. Always gotta look deeper.
Right.
I
Because
mean,
it's these subtle nuances that have gotten us to the place where we are
right.
as far as race relations go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we have like the extremism of slavery and Jim
Mm-hmm.
Crow and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once you get beyond the civil rights movement,
Mm-hmm.
there had to be um, some sophistication, or everything had to be shrouded in something else in
Yeah.
order for it to be perpetuated. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Because it was no longer socially acceptable to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So there were these subtle things You know,
So the covert, or I'm sorry, the overt racism had to slide into
right.
being covert. Yeah.
Right. And so, in that same way that it has happened with racism, and we still have all of the problems that we have surrounding race today, I feel like there is a push for with feminism.
Mhm.
You know, there's this push to make women the favored gender.
Yes.
And some people may say, well, shut up, girl, because you a woman and this benefits you. Well, but you know what? I have sons and I have a
Thank you.
husband
I
and I
have
have
no
a
desire
brother,
to be above anything.
anybody. Right.
No.
So it's like, and any time that you are in a paradigm where there is the haves and the have nots, you
Mm,
have to understand that that can shift.
right.
Right. So if you're okay with you being in the haves, understand that at some point a revolution will occur
And you will
and
be
you
a
will
have
be in the
not.
have nots.
Hmm.
And you're going to have to be okay with accepting that because it's coming.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And yes, it is that deep. As soon as I heard it, I just kind of was like, why? You know, why? Of all the
Yeah,
things, not water. Again, I'm sorry, I can't get past that.
right.
Not water,
People
not
in Flint,
clothes.
people
Thank
in Flint
girl.
still don't have clean water, even though we talk about Scotland and not the US, but still,
Yeah,
principle.
yeah. Because I'm
Principle.
sure, Scotland has homeless. They have
Right.
people that are suffering because they don't have food and whatever else. But y'all want to give free tampons and maxi pads. Okay. Do you, Scotland? All right. So let's quickly move on to our last part of habitual line stepping. So we talked about dating within your circle, right?
Mhm.
So when you have two people dating within the circle, something goes wrong, somebody cheats or whatever, do you hold loyalty to the couple, or, you know, try to, I guess, remain friends to the both of them? Or do you hold loyalty to the victim, if you will, of the relationship?
Uh, I think it depends. And that's a hard one because my initial thought was, did I what am I closer to one person? Like, did I develop a relationship with one person, and then you know somehow or another I'm closer to one person than the other person.
Yeah.
Would I feel more obligated to go to that person versus the other? And
Hmm.
then two, I think about, well, a lot of times if you go to a person and tell them that they're being cheated on, they take it
Hmm.
out on you.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and then also snitches get stitches. I mean, there's just so much. It's just so much. I
But it's
really.
that snitching. That's a whole other conversation. What is snitching?
It's just that is, I don't know. Like, part part of me is just like, just keep quiet and keep your head down. But the other part of me is like, well, if somebody knew that that was my circumstance, I
Hmm.
wouldn't want them grinning in my face knowing
Mm.
that I'm being made a fool of.
Right. Because after you find out and after it's all said and done, and you find out they know, you looking at them like, mm.
Yeah, yeah. Because
So
I
it's
wouldn't want
like,
them in my circle anymore if they sitting there watching me get played and
right,
not say anything. Yeah.
right. But then if they do say something, you like, mind your business. Well, I mean, I'm danged either way.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know,
tough one.
well, for me, if you stay loyal to what's right, and take the individuals out of it and be like, look, I love you and I love you, but you was wrong, you know, or you doing too much. You know, if you just kind of look at it like that and just say, look, I'm not picking sides. I'm just going to say what I see is wrong and what's right. Now, if you can identify that you was the wrong doer and you can identify that you were the right doer, carry on. I'm just saying what was right and what was wrong.
Yeah.
If y'all want to jump on me for that, that's on you, but that's where I'm sticking with it.
That's real. That is real.
That's the best position you can take, because you know it's then on them, and they can look at themselves and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna look crazy if I be like, well, how you gonna take his side? I'm not taking his side. I'm not taking her side. I'm taking the side of what was wrong. Did you do wrong? Well,
yeah,
you know,
that's real.
yeah,
I pray that I'm never in that
yes,
situation. Because that just the thought of that gives
yeah.
me the heebie-jeebies. I'm not feeling that at
It
all.
does, but I mean, I'm gonna tell you again. I'm in a place in my life and an age. Look, you was wrong. I love you. I remember something we were talking about before, you and I, when you were telling me something you said to somebody, and I said you was wrong,
Which
and
is
you
probably a lot, especially in my younger days.
and you kind of rolled your eyes at me. You said, "Well."
But that's love. That's love right there. You're right. It's love because the people in your circle, you should be able to go to the people in your circle and tell them when they are out of pocket. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the subject matter is. It can sometimes be an uncomfortable conversation, and especially when you're talking about somebody being unfaithful
Yeah.
to somebody else who's in the circle. Like that,
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine being in that situation. But like you said, being true to the circle, being true to your friendships, and being true to truth. It's
Exactly.
like you have an obligation
Yeah.
to call whomever out
Yeah.
on their stuff, and
I'm loyal
you
to
know,
what's true and what's right.
yeah.
You
And that's
know?
not always an uncomfortable. It's not always a comfortable position to be in, whether
Yeah.
you're the person that's calling the person out or whether
Yeah.
you're the person being called out. But it's necessary, and in certain instances, it could be life saving. I mean, when you think about like Hollywood and all of these people who went off the rails because
Mm.
they had an entourage of yes men.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody telling
Absolutely.
them if you don't sit yourself all the way down because
Exactly.
you are out of pocket,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there might be a lot
Absolutely.
of people still alive today
Yeah.
if they had a real circle that told
Yeah.
them that they were wilding.
Exactly. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Whew. So this is a good one, y'all. This hopefully this gave y'all some things to think about. Maybe look around your circle. I don't know. Maybe stop looking around your circle. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever
Eliminate them
applies.
habitual line steppers.
Yeah, I better start stepping in the name of love.
Not like how R. Kelly did.
Scratch that. Scratch that.
Ooh, yeah,
He is a
we ain't gonna take
habitual
no
line.
pointers from him because clearly he didn't have a circle that told him the truth.
No, he was
Clearly.
habitually line stepping. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna let that go. So we are at time. Way past time. So thank you all once again for listening. I am Lisa, aka Lady Lisa. Thank you, Nerd Soul, for allowing us to be on your platform. Don't forget to check him out in all his many videos on thatnerdsoul.com. check out me and him on the original Black Together on Tuesdays, Beats Vibes Life with the Four Horsemen on Wednesdays. He and I together again on Lounger on Fridays. I forgot to mention he also has a NERDSoul gaming platform, and he has some new things coming out. Check them out once again on ThatNERDSoul.com. Go to shop.nerdsoul.com to get you some t-shirts, some sweatshirts for the season. And don't forget, check out our Facebook page and our group page. Just look for Black Together, A Walk in Her Shoes. Check out what's coming up next. Start a conversation about what we're talking about. And once again, tell them about the Black business that is in your Black business today.
Yes, that is House of Aesthetics. It's located in Henrico, Virginia, where beauty has been naturally enhanced for the last 8 years with lock maintenance, braids, and styling services, specializing in natural hair care. That's House of Aesthetics. They will have you feeling your best for any event. They can be contacted at 804-939-3791. That's 804-939-3791.
All right. So thanks again for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I am Lisa, aka Lady Lisa. Bye, y'all.
Peace, love, and light, everybody.